What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to 3 Star Draw. I am Down South 77, and this here is an adult collector channel where we talk G.I. Joe, primarily classified. Every now and then, we'll take a look at some other stuff that I am into as well. Today, though, today is a G.I. Joe video, one that I have been waiting to make for a little bit now, because I finally got my grubby little hands on number 149, Dial Tone. This guy has been really, really hard to get because for some reason he did not ship with the rest of the wave. I guess they are coming in single assortment cases. I've heard they're coming that way and they're coming mixed. So I don't know. I don't buy cases of figures. But Dial Tone did not ship with the rest of them nonetheless. Most places haven't even shipped Dial Tone yet. Pulse hasn't shipped Dial Tone yet. I got a notice like 3 weeks ago that he was about to be shipped out. Never heard another word, never got charged. My cousin got a notice that he was actually on the way, even though he had never been charged, and lo and behold, no Dial Tone yet. So I actually got this one from GameStop. That's one of the places that's gotten him in. He's been coming in and out of stock, so if you hadn't managed to get him yet, don't overpay for this guy because he's going to be like all the rest of them once they finally show up. You're not going to have any trouble getting him. Now, I am excited to get this guy because this has been a stellar wave of classified figures. And I kind of have a running joke bet with my buddy Krusty Old Crow as to which is the best figure out of the wave. I say Leatherneck. He says Dial Tone. So today I finally get to find out. And I'm going to tell you guys my thoughts on this 4-figure wave. Now, I don't have Heavy Duty yet. He's just now starting to ship from Canada. I don't think he's been released anywhere officially in the States, but it's just a matter of time. I don't have him yet, but he is not part of the 4-figure wave. So we're talking Dial Tone, Leatherneck, Xandar, and Saw Viper. So I'm going to look at Dial Tone and I'll tell you guys who my favorite out of this wave is, because I mean they're getting better. Keep them coming, Hasbro. Even though my Leatherneck did survive the Battle of Wounded Knee. So let's check him out.
Got you this time, Mainframe.
Wrong again, Dial Tone.
Take a look at the box here before we turn on the extra lights and get him out. So here we are in the field of battle. Got Leatherneck back there behind us on the box. Got this Cobra mothership. I don't know what this is supposed to be. And Flames back here. I guess they just wrecked it and Dial Tone took over the communications. I don't know. There's his backpack I've heard so much about. There is his telecom patch there on his sleeve. Pretty neat. I like the way that they're doing the unit patches for these guys. There are his attributes, or a QR code that goes nowhere. And then over here on the side, we got this neat artwork. Looks good. Got his listening device there. So, all right, let's get some lights on and see what this guy's about. Here's how he comes packaged in the tray. Backpack down here, knife, got his phone device, got his gun, which I do like this gun. I've seen some people that dislike it. And then we got his listening device. There he is, chilling in the tray. As usual, we're going to take a look at his gear that he comes with first. He does come with this handheld listening device. Got this little amplification radar dish deal on it, and I'll go ahead and say what everybody else has been saying. You guys know this means Psych Out's coming before too long. So I never did like Psych Out. I had him, don't know why I had him, but I will hold out hope that they can make Psych Out pretty good like they've done with some of the other characters we didn't particularly love back then. So not a lot to this thing. Got a little bit of sculpting on there. You know, I don't exactly know what this is. I've seen it in spy movies, so amplifies sound so he can listen in. It does come with like the most basic of knives that they've done. It does have, I do like that it has the finger notches there. It's kind of an all black K-bar looking knife. So not a whole lot to this either. Now let's talk about his gun, because most everybody can agree that the original Dial Tones gun was one of the best guns in Real American Hero. I loved it, that little SMG, and this is not exactly it, but I think it's pretty close. And I do like that they have the little notch up here, removable magazine. This is a new weapon, so it's got rails up on top, got this kind of extendable, collapsible stock there. Underneath here, maybe that's probably a laser or something, whatever. Vented heat shield there. Does have a port for blast effects. So, well, that looks like there's probably a laser here. So I'm guessing that's probably going to be a flashlight or something, because there's the laser. So we do have that, and then we do have his little tablet here. I dig this thing. There's not much to it. It's got a play and a pause, and then down there at the bottom, maybe that's the battery bar. I know. So he's watching memes on this, looking up memes. He's watching reels. His buddies are sending him crazy ass reels. And on the back, I love it. It has the actual camera. He's got the cameras on the back. So I dig that. I really do like that they made that actually like actual phone. Or CoverGirl has one too. She kind of has more of a tablet, and it does fit right in here. So, and it stays in. Looks like I was worried about that. So looks like it's not going anywhere. So you can have this. Maybe this down here is also some sort of a camera, gun cam. I don't know. You make it whatever you want. So it can be transmitting to him. So maybe, who knows what this is. So he's looking at it on here. I think that's a really neat idea. I like that. So we'll leave that in there for now. Now let's take a look at the backpack, because this was always one of Dial Tone's main features, was his backpack, and it does look really, really similar to his original backpack, but man, this looks good. So much detail in this. I cannot complain about backpacks. I always say, oh, I wish they hit them with some paint. I wish they did this. I wish they did that. This thing is awesome. You can see it's got the skeletal frame, the metal frame, goes all the way around to hold this actual equipment in, and looks like it locks it in here. I love that. Actually, you see the frame. Nice long back peg we need with these things. It's kind of a brown. And then of course all this is it's not really a polished aluminum. It's this nice silver, this metal. And you actually see the wires going up, and you can actually see them go up into the sockets there. Like this is a good level of detail for the things that they've been doing. This is actually above what they've been doing. And then up here, whatever this is supposed to be, I don't know. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I'm not gonna theorize what that might be. And then you do have his drop down. This is microphone. We always, as kids, were wondering if it was some kind of reticle sight, but it is supposed to be some sort of microphone. And I have seen that it has a hard time staying down in the position it's supposed to be. It's one of the only real gripes I've seen with this figure. Some really nice sculpt work on the arm. You can see the little metal bolts and stuff there. You see this thing here, sprocket looking thing where you probably adjust tension on it. A lot of detail in this. Up here you got a cooling fan, and then again, whatever that is supposed to be, I don't know, but it looks cool. It's actually a different color in there. Looks like from here, it might be the light. Then you got another little tube going down here. Got this piece on the outside, and his backpack did have that circular design on it on the back that I always thought looked like the eye of a stove, but it does have that here. It just doesn't encompass the whole thing. And then over here, you have these little gadgets. They look like they spin. They don't. No, I take that back. They do spin. At least that one does. So it doesn't look like the bottom one does. So this does spin around. Huh, that's pretty cool. That plugs in. So this looks like maybe a camera off to the side. So maybe he can switch the input on his phone. I don't know. Maybe he can turn it around, look behind him. I don't know that that's supposed to be a camera, but that's what it looks like. And then this down here, man, it really looks like that should spin around too, but it doesn't. So this is probably a some sort of sensor. I don't know. It's really, really high tech. It's above my pay grade. And then the coolest thing about this that everybody's talking about is this actually does open. And drop down, you have a little terminal there. Oop, looks like that. That's a little loose. It's not broken. Okay, well it just fits in there. Does not fit in there exceptionally tight, but I don't think it's going anywhere. It's okay, so be careful with that. So fold that down. You do have this computer terminal, and then inside there in this bronze with a little bit of silver, you do see a inner workings of a computer or circuit boards or something. This is pretty unheard of level of detail for these figures. Get this computer screen here. So this has got a sliders on it. I don't know, maybe this is a portable DJ equipment and he's showing up to rock the party. I don't know. We're gonna call it a computer. It does have a little space in there. I guess you could probably put his phone in there. Looks like it's got a little space down there at the bottom. I don't know if you can see in there. There's a little divot in there at the bottom that it probably does go in. But that folds up and that does stay in really nice. Just if yours is like mine, be careful when you open it because that hinge is a little wobbly. But it's not going anywhere. I mean, if you pop it out, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's not a Dragonfly canopy. Really nice work on this backpack. I joked the whole time that I thought it looked like a fireplace. And it still kind of does to me. So it's like the most high-tech fireplace. It's a chimenea. But it is a very nice looking chimenea. So let's go ahead and take a look at Mr. Jack Morelli himself. I got a little story about Dial Tone. My cousin and I, Pop Blender, avid Joe fans, avid collectors. When this guy came out in '86, we couldn't find him anywhere. He was one of our most anticipated figures after seeing the card back. We had the bat before we had this guy. That's how hard to find he was. You guys remember how hard to find the bat was? Dial Tone was way harder to find. And I never remember, I'll never forget, I remember, got this little armband up here. That's kind of a little extra pouch. Huh, that's interesting. But I remember my mom and I were at Sears of all places, and they had this guy. And I don't know about where you guys grew up and where you, nice Jean-Claude Van Damme, go Dial Tone. I don't know about where you guys grew up, but Sears near me was almost a joke with their figure selection. It seemed like they would get the new figures like once, and all they would have is whatever the peg warmer from that wave was, and then the old wave. Like there was never new stuff at Sears. And I was at Sears with Mom one day, and they had this guy, and I freaked out. And actually talked my mom into getting him for me and also picking one up for my cousin. So I could not wait to talk to him to tell him that I had found us Dial Tone at Sears. So that's my Dial Tone story, and I'm sticking to it. Guy looks great. I have heard reports that some of his joints were really, really tight. You can see me working the ones mine here, working them around. I don't have that big of a problem with him. These are about how I want the joints to be. You guys watching my Leatherneck review here, you know that the knee broke on my Leatherneck. This part back here on the right knee actually cleaved off, and they replaced that Leatherneck for me. I'd heard reports Dial Tone had a similar issue, but I don't have it with mine. So does have this little thing on his cuff here. This is going to come off if you take his hand off. And then over here, he does have another spinny gadget that's going to be removable, some sort of other Dick Tracy communication device. So overall, this guy really does look fantastic. Of course, his beret does come off. He looks a little bit like a white Alpine. I think he looks better than Alpine, but he looks good with the beret, without the beret. Eyes look good. I don't have any problems with the paint apps. They got his mustache right. He had that kind of pencil mustache. That looks really good. Let's look at his patch. We saw it on the back of the box. There we go. See if that will center there. So we do have his patch there for his comms unit. Up here he's got a grenade and a whatever that is going to be for you. A flashbang, a smoke grenade. A couple other pouches here on this black harness. So you got 3 different colors just on this web gear harness he has. You've got 2 brown pouches. You've got the silver grenades, and this is black, and it is not a full, 4-way cross harness. So you could probably get this off of him pretty easy if you want. Looks like you can just pop his head off and remove this if you want. Nothing like this guy over here where you got to do some amputation to get his off. Does have silver belt buckle down here. This is going to be a little holder for his phone, and let's see how that fits in there. I know that is one thing that my buddy Krusty Old Crow had an issue with this figure, was the phone holder doesn't really work all that great, because it just kind of, it stays in there. I can see the issue because it's not solid in the back. It just kind of pops in there and holds. So this thing is just going to flop around. So I would guess you want to be careful. But it does seem like it stays in there pretty well if you're just displaying them. So if he walks around like that, next time he pulls that phone out, he's going to have low battery. He forgot to turn the screen off. Does have this radio over here, similar to what Leatherneck has, but it's not exactly the same radio. It is not removable. It is just part of the leg band pouch. So here's Leathernecks and here is Dial Tones. It is entirely different. It's a different sculpt. It's a different mold. The pouch is different. The leg band is different. I think that's neat that they're doing that. Instead, you just kind of spice the legs up, especially for this guy who does not have a sidearm. He doesn't have a pistol like Leatherneck has. I don't mind this. Like, it's kind of redundant for this guy. He has all this fancy high-tech stuff, and then he's got just an old school radio like he's a security guard at the mall. But it looks great. I'm not going to knock it. It doesn't take anything away from the figure for me. So let's see, sitting, if that thing's not even coming out sitting. I think I would like it a little bit better if it didn't have the, if it was solid, like a solid holster there. It's kind of like a J holder. But I mean, it fits in there. I can't knock that. It does have knee pads down here. These kind of scalloped looking knee pads. Those things they're pretty, got a pretty good edge on that center one. You can't hear it, but I don't think, but I don't mind these knee pads. These look good on this guy. Pants look good. Does have a boot cut down here. Ankle rockers seem like they're going to be pretty good, because you guys know that's my arch nemesis with posability for these figures, is I always seem to get ones with weak ankle rockers. Xandar's is really bad, and Saw Vipers is kind of weak, but it's okay. I'm digging this guy. It's a nice silver belt buckle. These pouches over here are Nice sculpt work on those. Back here on the back, he's got this studded belt. So it's not even just a plain brown belt. It's got some raised studs on it. And you got his pouches back here, his back pockets. And then he has a ankle holster for the knife. Let's go ahead and put that in there. See if that's going to stay in. No issues there. Some of these knife holders and the holders for some of the suppressors that some of these guys have are really kind of tight to get the things in there. Now does he have the, I can't tell if he has the rocker on the wrist or not. He does have it. You don't get much range with it, but he can go side to side. I don't know. Don't seem like he's got the up and down. But his hands do seem like weirdly angled to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I'm seeing it. So we can get his listening thing in there, and he holds it. Why does he hold it like that? So you're going to have to kind of bend his arm for him to hold that, you know, the way it seems like he would need to use it. It works. You just have to bend the arm. So you're not going to be able to hold it straight out because he's going to be listening to the grass trample as he walks. That's okay. I don't know that I'll ever really use this thing with him. So let's check out his weapon here, this SMG that he comes with. Fingers on this guy aren't as tough as they've been on some of the recent figures, but they are still kind of weird. Still kind of tough on that plastic. I have a hard time getting the trigger finger in there on a lot of these figures. So I'm going to save some time, and I'm going to hit this hand with a little bit of heat and heat that finger up and go ahead and get it in that trigger guard. Alright, that'll save us a minute or two there. I sit here some of these guys and struggle with getting the finger inside the trigger guard, and I don't like having that on camera because it's just annoying, and I usually wind up trying to edit some of it out anyway. So there we go, heated that hand up. And he does kind of have that same thing he's got with his listening device with his weapon. It's slightly angled. So I guess he does have those rockers. Let's see if we can look at that. He does have them. So I heated the hand up, but obviously it was still in there. See if we can loosen that a little bit. And again, watch this cuff thing here. It hits it, and you can't angle the hand up quite the way that you want it. I know this hasn't softened up yet. Come on, that's what she said. All right. So it looks like because of the cuff and because of this wrist module thing that he's got, you might be able to heat this up and push it up a little further on his wrist. I might try doing that to see if we can even that angle out. I do want to put this in here again. It's loose, but I don't feel like it's going to fall out. So there he is with that. Put your arm down. So I don't mind this at all. I kind of like this with the gun cam. So we've looked at that. Now let's throw his backpack on him and see how his microphone works. Try to get all this stuff lined up here, because they finally did start making the backpacks with pegs long enough to fit on these guys the way that they should have from the beginning. And I don't feel like I've got that lined up, but it sure doesn't. There we go. Let's say, didn't feel like it was going all the way through. So it does cause his chest rig to ride a little bit high when you have it on. So you could probably heat that and just kind of hold it and remold it where it's pushed down a little bit. Sometimes that works. So that looks pretty good. I mean, that's a mic. So I can definitely see though, like if this thing rides up, it's gonna bump it up. So I will probably wind up trying to heat this and push it down and remold it. But I mean, it definitely goes on as a mic. So he's got his throat mic there. I didn't point that out. He's got his earpiece in his left ear there with his throat mic. So this dude is definitely tuned in. He's gonna hear everything that's going on, and he's gonna be able to whisper, and you'll be able to hear him loud and clear. This really is a good figure. This guy was definitely worth the wait. I'm really digging Dial Tone, and as much as I like this guy as a kid, I do like this classified version. I don't need another version of this guy. This guy don't need a retro card. He's perfect as is. He's not real loose. He's a little wobbly. It's more noticeable when you put that backpack on, but he's not nearly as bad as some of the others have been. So I do definitely recommend picking Dial Tone up. I don't see anywhere to put this though. I wish there was somewhere he could hold this thing. I guess, I don't know. Nah, that's not really gonna work. Say putting it in there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's got anywhere that port's on or anything that I see, and it's definitely not fitting in there. So you're gonna have to, oh, there we go, move that around, and it kind of rides up. So you have to keep an eye on that. But man, this is a really good figure. I'm sorry for all those months I spent making fun of the backpack, saying it looked like a fireplace. It's really nice looking figure. This is one of the best figures that they put out for a while. One of the best looking. Got his silver patch there on his beret. That's one of the things we definitely needed with a Dial Tone figure. This he's badass, man. Got to give this guy a rating. Dial Tone this is a 4.5 yeehaws out of 5 all day long. This figure's fantastic. I don't have any QC issues with him really that I can see. So that's always a plus off the jump. Now, for what I mentioned in the beginning, my for fun bet that I had with Krusty Old Crow over which one of these guys was going to be the better figure in the wave. They're both really good, but I've got to say, I got to go with Crow. I think Dial Tone is a better figure. I really dig Leatherneck, good looking figure. He hits all the vibes for me for what I want out of Leatherneck. Don't you fall. But Dial Tone, I didn't have any issues with Dial Tone. I don't feel like I'm going to lose any pieces for Dial Tone like you have with Leatherneck with his wrist, whatever we decided that is, a KIA bracelet or a copper bracelet for joint pain, whatever that is. There's nothing on Dial Tone that's going to fall off of him. Even his little tablet, his phone, I don't feel like it's falling out of here or here. And this sets up high enough. I mean, it's not going to knock it out when you move his leg. So I do have to concur with my buddy Krusty Old Crow. I think Dial Tone is probably the standout figure in this wave. And then for me, honestly, probably Xandar, just because I like the Dreadnought so much, and this figure looks great. Then Leatherneck, then Saw Viper back here, which is not the way I thought that this wave would go, but that's the way that it turned out for me. So tell me what order you guys put them in down in the comments. Did you pick Dial Tone up yet? Have you been able to get him? Do you have him ordered? I tell you, if you don't have him ordered, you should order him. Just don't overpay for him, because I think once Hasbro gets their head out of a certain place, I don't think he's going to be hard to get. Just have a little patience, I guess, because he is worth the wait. Guys, I appreciate you watching this. If you like the review, I would also appreciate it if you hit that thumbs up, that like, that subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see y'all next time on 3-Star Draw.
Yeah, unlimited power anywhere, anytime we want.
If it works.
The BET'll work perfectly, Duke. I can practically feel its little semiconductors singing under my fingertips. Hey, be careful.